Hey guys, I'm Roger Wakefield, Lead AP, the expert plumber, coming to you in this video to talk to you about my top 7 reasons as to why you would want to become an apprentice. I'll tell you what, you hang around to the end and I'll tell you the tricks of how I study and how I've done very well on every exam I've taken down in Austin. I'm Roger Wakefield, Lead AP, the expert plumber. I've been plumbing over 38 years, and I have every master endorsement in the state of Texas. On this channel, I'm teaching you how to fix your plumbing fast and free. If you haven't been here before, please subscribe so you don't miss anything. Reason number 1 is you've got a lot of choices. To become an apprentice, you can become an apprentice in the elevators union. You can become an apprentice in the plumbers, pipe fitters, and steam fitters union. You can become an apprentice in the steel workers union, structural iron steel workers. You can become an apprentice in the electricians union. And all these unions are really good. And when I say become an apprentice, I mean an official training program approved by the Department of Education or Department of Labor. And the reason that I like that is a lot of times there's benefits added to it. So I'm really going to talk to you about the plumbers, pipe fitters, and steam fitters union because that's the one that I'm actually a part of. Actually used to be an instructor in it. So I'm familiar with the system. I'm familiar with the training program, and I'm familiar with a lot of the plumbers that have gone through it and come up. And when I say plumbers, pipe fitters, and welders. But really a lot of these things that I'm going to mention today, it's the same through all of the different apprenticeship training programs. So the good thing about it is that there's a lot there to think about. Reason number 2, it's an excellent start to your professional career. And the reason I say that is you're going to get in, you're going to get paid while you work. In the pipe fitters union here in Dallas, you actually get paid while you work, and then you go to school 2 nights a week. It's a training program to where they've got a syllabus set, and you go through and you learn certain things each year, and it gets you closer to graduating and becoming a journeyman and getting out. The good thing is right now, depending on where you work, union wages are different, and union wages are normally different than open shop. Service company wages may be different than construction wages. So there's a lot of different things to look at and a lot of different things to think about to see what you want to do. But I will tell you, look at the benefits package and make sure you look at the retirement package. What's going to be there for you when you decide that it's time for you to quit working. And that is really my biggest benefit about joining the union compared to open shop, is that at least in the union, you've got a retirement plan. You've got a pension plan. And that's something to look forward to and something to think about. Reason number 3, apprenticeship is a great option over college. Again, you get paid while you work. And like I said a while ago, you work at least 40 hours a week, most companies, but you work about 40 hours a week. You get paid while you work. You get paid overtime. You don't get paid while you go to school, but you're getting paid in knowledge because, a lot of these professionals and tradesmen, journeymen, masters, whoever are down here as the instructors, and they teach you the things that you need to know to get out to excel in order to do your job properly. And it's really good for you. The good thing about it is when you get out, there's no college tuition. You don't have that student loan that you've got to go back and pay for, because the kids that went to college have, most of them, amassed debt every year. And by the time they graduate, they turn out and get an entry-level job at, $20,000, $30,000 a year. And they've got to start looking at how to pay that student loan back. As an apprentice, you don't have that student loan. You've actually been getting paid for the 4 or 5 years you work, however long the apprentice training program is. One thing that I tell people is start studying in the beginning. And I know it sounds crazy, and I'll make sure we put a link in here, but I've got a study guide for plumbers. It's the UPC Study Guide. And I'll tell you what, it's a fantastic book, and it's one that I recommend every journeyman read and learn to study in this guide, because you're going to learn things that are going to make you a better plumber as you go along. And the good thing is, this is a guide that I give to journeymen and masters to study before they take their exam. If you want to be a really good apprentice, and this is something not everybody's going to tell you, get that study guide early. Start studying, learn how to use that study guide. And as you're going through your career, you know things that's going to be on the test that you're going to take later, but you're already thinking about it all along, and you're thinking about it while you're doing it because you've read these questions and you're familiar with them. And I think that's a great thing. Number 4, receive practical education, practical experience, and you get relevant information for your trade because you're doing it during the day. This is something that to me is huge as an apprentice training is you actually work in the field during the day, whether it's construction or for a service company, but you work and you learn these things. You go study out of the books at night, and at night your classes, some of it may be lab, some of it may be shop, some of it may be books, but you're actually you get to learn why. Why do things happen the way they do, and what is it about? But the good thing is you're always learning. And if you're one of these people you love learning new things, this is something that you want to think about because an apprentice training program is a really good deal. You can learn things during the day, and then you go to school at night and you learn it a completely different way. And to me, that is just so beneficial. Another good thing about it is if you're a high school dropout, in Texas, you've got to be right now, you have to have a high school diploma to get your plumbing license. So if you're a dropout and you can get your GED and enroll in an apprentice training program, it can be really good for you. Whenever you graduate and you get out and you're a journeyman and you're making journeyman scale and you've got good benefits and you're supporting yourself and your family well, guys, that's an amazing feeling. And it really, I don't know that there's anything more rewarding than the fact of knowing that you've worked for it. You've worked during the day, you've gone to school at night, you've done a lot of things to do really well, and you've mastered it. You have become that journeyman. And if you've studied and you've done some of these things I'm talking about, you're going to be really good. One thing I'll tell you is when you go to school at night, don't look at school as a burden. Look at it as an opportunity. Because when you walk in there, that instructor that's teaching you, there are things that you can learn that maybe the journeyman you're working with aren't teaching you. Maybe they're not teaching you the right way. So, take that opportunity and learn and understand that they're trying to teach you something that maybe you're not using right now. Maybe even when they teach you, you don't see the benefit of it, but it's something that you need to learn. So number 6, success and satisfaction. Guys, when you get this, and I tell people this, when you're a plumber, when you're a pipe fitter, when you're a welder, whatever it is, when you get it, it clicks. All of a sudden, it's just like one day, boom, you know what? I've got this. I understand this. It makes sense. I know I can do it. And guys, that feeling, it's amazing. The standards of excellence, standards for excellence. If you'll look at that and read it, if you're in the United Association, and look at those things and see what's expected from you. And you say, you know what? I'm going to strive to be one of the best people. The standards for excellence teach you what to do, what's expected of you, and master those. Get really, really good at them. And when you do graduate, when school's over, when you graduate, when you are that journeyman, it's such a rewarding feeling. Number 7, the opportunities. And I used to ask whenever I was an instructor, I would ask my entire class. And I started out with first years, had them for a while. It was really good. But I'd always ask them, how many of y'all want to be a journeyman plumber or a journeyman pipe fitter or a journeyman welder? And, everybody raises their hand. And then you ask them, okay, as a plumber, you can go from a journeyman to a master. Who wants to be a master plumber? And not quite as many would raise their hand. And it's funny because when I would ask those questions, the further I would go, after a journeyman, who wants to be a foreman, and not as many people would raise their hands, and who wants to be a superintendent, and not as many people would raise their hands. And then you start getting into management. Who wants to be the vice president of a company or something? And really not many people would raise their hands. But then when you got around to the point, who wants to own their own company one day, a lot more hands would go up. That's another thing to think about. If you get into the elevator union or you get into the iron workers or something like that, chances are you are not going to have your own company. Normally, the tradespeople that get up to having their own company are either carpenters, home builders, electricians, plumbers, HVAC people, things like that. So I know that getting into an apprenticeship trade, there's a lot to think about when you get in, but it's so rewarding that when you get out, you realize, look, you can do what you want to do. And don't ever let anybody tell you you can't, because if you decide bad enough you want to do it and you set your mind to it, you can do it. So now let me tell you my trick on the UPC study guide. Take the UPC study guide. It has the answers in the back. Go to the back and find the section that you're on and go to each one of those questions, and with a highlighter, mark the correct answer only. And I don't just mark there, I highlight the entire answer. Once you do that and you mark the entire book, what you're going to want to do is go through that book as often as you can and read the question and read the answer. And you only read the correct answer. Don't ever read anything else. Just read the question and read the answer. And you'll get to where you go through that book and you know the answer. It's funny. I remember one of the times I went to take, I believe it was my master exam, my master plumbing exam. I had studied so hard that whenever I'd read the question, I'd read the first 4, 5, 6 words and I already knew the answer, because the plumbing exams are taken from the UPC and the IPC study guide. Now, the IPC has a study guide too. It's good. I really love this UPC study guide. And like I said, I'll put a link to it down there. So if you want it, click on it, get it, or I'll put a link in the description. Click on it and get it. So again, back to how I study. Mark all the answers, read through it very often, and all you're reading is the question and the correct answer. When it comes time for you to study it, cover up the answers, read the question, know the answer, and look down. If you don't know the answer, highlight the question out to a side in the different color. So I may have all my correct answers in green and then anything I got wrong in yellow. And only highlight the ones that you missed. Meaning, if you guessed at something, I would highlight that. Because if you guessed at it and you weren't 100% sure, you don't know it 100%. Because now what you want to do is you want to go through and read just those other ones that you've highlighted the question because you didn't have it right. You want to go back and read those and study those. And if you do this, when you go down to take your test, you're actually going to do very well. Guys, I hope you enjoy these videos. If you do, please leave a comment down below. Let us know what you think. If you've got the study guide and you're using it this way, please let me know. If you've got another way that you've studied for your journeyman or master exam, or even a med gas or multi-purpose or WSPS, whatever it is that you've taken, if you've got a way that you've studied that worked really well for you, please leave a comment down there and let us know, because I really do. I put these out to help everybody. If you've been here before and you hadn't subscribed or ring the bell, please do so you don't miss out on anything. My name's Roger Wakefield, the expert plumber, and I'll see you on the next video if you don't get flushed.